Welcome to the Chat About Life with Nick and Dana.
Yes. So we were talking about it, and we thought that maybe we would do 2 episodes that are about our medical experiences. Let's just clump it into that. And today we're just going to talk about Nick's immediate hospital stay and some things we learned from that. But then we're also going to come back and talk about the need for advocacy in dealing with medical issues where you've got an adult with a disability who might not be conveying all the information that you need to know, not because they're trying to hide it, because they just don't know something's wrong, and how to deal with the medical side of doctors who maybe are choosing to take a very passive route for too long, and how to advocate towards getting some resolution. Does that make sense, Nick?
Yeah,
Am I saying it right?
I think.
Okay, well, we'll figure it out, but that's basically what we discussed. So, Nick, do you want to just kick it off and tell them what just happened?
My surgery.
You had surgery.
Yeah.
So, do you want to just start the day of the surgery?
Okay.
Tell us what happened.
Woke up at 5:15 in the dark. Got up super early. Then I had to get prepped.
Get prepped. What does that mean?
Prepped for my surgery.
So what did they do?
So they put a gown and a cap on me.
Did you look oh so handsome?
Dana.
Okay, we're being serious. So they prepped you, and then what's the next thing you remember happening?
And then they put that face mask gas on me. And I fell asleep.
And you fell asleep.
Yes.
What do you remember after that?
I woke up, I was tired, and I felt no pain.
And I love that. Okay. So going into the surgery, did you have any worries or concerns?
Like my walking.
Oh, yes. So you were concerned that after the surgery, you might have difficulty walking.
Yeah.
So did you?
No.
No. Okay. When you were there at the hospital getting prepped and before you fell asleep, did you have any concerns? This isn't a trick question. We just we didn't talk about that, so I thought I'd give you a chance.
I don't remember the second one.
What did you think you had a concern, but you weren't sure what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know that you were concerned about when you could get back to playing basketball.
Yeah, that's you.
Okay. And we still don't really know the answer to that, right? We're still figuring that out?
Yeah.
Okay. So you wake up, and who was there and what was happening?
Well, I was on the gurney.
You were on, so do you mean the gurney or a hospital bed with wheels? Is that what you're calling?
Hospital bed.
Okay, so you were in a hospital bed. What next?
And then they moved me out. And then I was on the gurney. And then we had EMTs out. And then I went inside the ambulance.
You took an ambulance? Okay,
Yeah.
Let's go back a couple steps. So you just had surgery, you wake up, probably a little groggy, right?
Yeah.
All right. And you're in the recovery area.
Yeah.
Who was with you?
You.
Me? Oh, me? Oh,
Yeah.
yes. And we learned some information that we didn't know before. What did we learn?
That I had to sleep over there, stay overnight.
Yes. And how did that make you feel?
I didn't mind it at all.
You didn't mind it. Were you surprised?
Yeah, surprised.
Okay. So you find out you're going to stay overnight, and why did you have to change buildings? You might not know the answer. You can say, I don't know. Okay. So the hospital there is in one building, and then the recovery floor is in a separate building. And unlike some hospitals, like Cedars-Sinai is basically a mini city with tunnels between all the buildings, at UCI Health, they don't have the tunnels. So when they move a patient from building to building, you get to take a little ambulance ride. Probably the shortest ambulance ride in the history of the world. But what did you think about taking the ambulance ride?
I loved it. It's like I'm in a movie or in a show.
Right. And how were the EMTs towards you?
Really super nice.
They were so nice. They even let us take a little bit of recording of the whole process, which we can share. Do you mind if we share that, Nick?
Let's share that.
Okay, we can share that. And so they were so nice. He carried my backpack. I am capable of carrying my backpack, but they were so accommodating. They just are like, no, let me have it. And the guy wore it the whole trip. It was just super, super nice. So then we get into the other building. And what I thought was so interesting is, because I've seen it on TV, but not in real life, is how they really take the sheets and it's 1, 2, 3, and they just like transfer you from the hospital bed to the gurney and then back, right?
Yeah.
So that was just a little bit cool. So I took some pictures and a little bit of video of that. Okay, so now we're in building 3 and we're in the recovery room. Tell me some things about that.
Well, I had a TV.
You had a TV, okay.
Yes. And there were 2 people there.
Who were the people?
It was me and one other guy.
Okay, so you had a roommate in your room.
Yeah.
Could you see him?
No.
What was blocking your view?
It was the curtain.
Okay, there was a curtain. All right, so let me think. Well, what was your experience like? How many days did you stay?
Probably like 3 or 4 days.
Okay, we were there for 4 days. And what was your favorite thing about being in the hospital? If there was a favorite, some people
The
really...
food!
You have a very low standards for food. Okay, what food did you like?
Pudding, ice cream, fries, bagels, bacon, grilled cheese.
Wait, they don't have French fries in a hospital.
Oh, wait. It was you who delivered it.
We might have brought in some of our own food a couple of the days. That was fun. Well, those were long days. I mean, it was 9 to 11 hours a day that I was there, and I didn't really have food to pack, so we had to feed me a little too. And it wasn't like the hospital. It wasn't like there was just a cafeteria downstairs, because this was the recovery building, so I would have had to navigate around the grounds, and I didn't want to leave him for that long. So all right, so the food was good. What else? Tell us something else that you didn't mind about it.
Yeah, I was not bored.
Okay.
And I had my phone.
Okay, so what did you do to pass the time? Because 4 days is a long time to be out of bed.
On my phone, I was watching my Netflix.
Okay, you watched Netflix.
And listened to my music. And we went onto the computer.
Okay, so that's not that different than usual, right?
Yeah.
What did you and I do to pass time?
We binged.
Binge what?
Our show.
What's our show?
Called The Blacklist.
The Blacklist. Did we make it through a whole season?
Yeah, all the way.
I know. I think a season and a half, right?
Yeah.
We watched a lot. Okay. Was there anything that you didn't like about being in the hospital, other than obviously you were trapped in a hospital? Anything you didn't like?
No.
No? Okay. You are just the easiest to please human on the planet.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Okay, so discharge was pretty sweet.
Yes, it was.
Okay, and now we're home. Now that we're home and you are doing your healing and recovery, is there anything you want to share about that time?
But right now, I'm back and doing the show.
Yes, we are back and chatting with everybody. That's
Yeah.
fun. Okay, anything else?
And
Anything tricky that we're dealing with?
tricky.
Yeah, anything tricky that we're dealing with?
Oh yeah, my drainage.
Yeah, so Nick got to come home with surgery drains, which if you basically picture the little tools you use with babies where you squeeze it and put it in their nose and you release and it sucks everything out, these operate on that same principle. So they hang actually right and left out of the surgical area, and they, through, I guess, suction, are pulling away fluid. And the doctor said it wasn't something that was essential, but because Nick was in surgery for lymphedema, which is basically accumulation of fluid in your skin. I think that's the easiest way the layman's way to discuss it. They wanted to make sure that they were pulling all the fluid out of his body. But what they didn't know is that we've got a puppy. And it looks just like the squeak toys that you get if you rip apart a puppy toy, because those are usually a little plastic with a little tip. And so I think the biggest challenge has been making sure that Clyde doesn't see it and try to play with the drains, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is Nick's been so great about just all the care that you have to take right after surgery. So today's just our second day home. What are you saying?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm talking with my hands. All right, I'm talking with my hands again. Anyway, Nick he is the best patient that I've known. He doesn't complain about anything. In fact, he sat down in this chair, and it's just a wood stool. And of course, if you're sitting down on a surgical site, that's a little uncomfortable. So I had him get a pillow, but he didn't even say anything about it. His face looked like, ow. And so we got a pillow. So I just think, Nick, I'm so proud of you. You have done such a great job. Are you going to be a goofball now? Anyway, he got a hair salon. We did nail salon today, so he got a little cleaned up. And he's all ready. His job coach is going to come over just to visit for a while. And I think that the last thing we wanted to talk about, because we don't want to make it too long, is we talked about some tips for other adults with disabilities who are going into the hospital. Yeah. Do you want to talk about the tips, or do you want me to?
Let's both do it.
All right. So what was one of the first things that we thought about?
One of them is not to be afraid.
Right. And so were you afraid at all?
No, I was not. I'd done it with my eye before.
Yes. So Nick had surgery before on his eyes. And so he already kind of knew what it was like, even though that was outpatient. And he trusted the doctors and the team. But I think making sure that you make space for questions is really important from the parental side, because some of his questions just broke my heart. Like, am I going to be able to walk? He just didn't know. And it's like, I am so glad that when we were doing kind of our nighttime routine that I just said, do you have any questions about surgery? And the first night, a couple questions came up. And then it was 2 nights before surgery. Then the night before, do you have any questions about surgery? And then a couple more questions came up. And so I think by the time he got there, he was pretty comfortable with the process.
Yes.
Okay. Any other tips for people who might be facing surgery?
It might be scary at first, but we get used to it.
Yeah, so if it seems scary at first, you get used to it. They're there to take care of you. And that's the thing we talked about is the staff there, they're always on top of you. What are they doing? They're
like taking our vitals.
Yeah, taking your vitals, your blood pressure and your temperature, and they're making sure that your oxygen level is good. And for you, they're checking the drains and things, and they do that a lot. And they had to give you antibiotics. And what did you have on your hand the whole time?
My IV.
Yes. So Nick's got really thin veins, and so they ended up not going into I guess sometimes they do it in your arm, or sometimes they'll do it on this side, but they did on the top of your hand. So he had that in for 4 days. That was a long time to have that hand not really usable, but we kind of made it work. And then anything else as a tip? What about the call button?
Oh yeah, the call button, yeah.
Is it your friend?
Yeah, it is. It's for emergencies.
Yeah, or when you need some help, right?
Yes.
And so did you learn, we just had 1 or 2 times, did you learn a good tip for if you're going to have to use the restroom?
Yeah.
What's the tip?
Always get help from that.
Yes. Should you wait till the last minute?
No.
Then what happens? Then mom's out in the hallway saying, no, it's really an emergency. It's an emergency.
Yeah.
It took forever. And so we learned that we should just periodically have someone help, because he wasn't able to get up on his own, particularly the first and second day. And so he needed a little nurse assistance with that. And so we learned not to wait too long and just to be more scheduled. And just really, we learned that you have to think about how you're feeling and be honest and communicate it if you need help or you need something different, because they were really accommodating. I think more so because Nick was such a great patient. They kept bringing us extra goodies and saying, you don't cause any trouble. Here are 3 cranberry juices and here are some extra graham crackers. They would just bring us things. It was very lovely. Yes. So, all right. Anything else to say about that? And we'll come back.
Well, I did walk 4 times.
Oh, yes. That you liked that. What did you mean I walked?
I walked around the hospital 4 laps.
4 laps. You got to get up and go around the nurses' stations?
Yes.
Yes. And how was that? I actually have video of that. I can share at least picture or video. You liked it?
I loved it. Yeah, I loved it.
And did you have to walk with anything?
Yeah, I have to.
The IV stand, right?
Yeah. The limit is not to go fast. But one of the doctors or one of them said and at the end of the room or the end of the line, so I went a little bit fast.
So that felt good after being in the bed. I think you had been in the bed for 2 full days, right? And that was your first time really walking?
Yeah.
That was pretty fun.
The first time it was with Dad. Mm-hmm. The second time is with my I don't know, Dana. With Dana.
Mom, your mom.
Yeah, totally.
So sassy. Totally. Did you say totally? Yeah?
Maybe.
Sassy. All right. So.
Sassy, passy is sassy.
Exactly. So I just wanted to share, and Nick wanted to share that part. So we will come back and we'll talk about just the medical advocacy and just some tips so that medical issues don't build up. Because, well, I'm going to save it. Anything else other than have a great day?
No.
That's it?
That's it.
All right. Hope you have the week you need, and we'll be back to talk about more things that are medical and maybe some other topics that aren't.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yes.
All right. Terrific. Take care.
Take care.